All right, so we had several presentations that we received to start off our meeting. The first, Don Meagle talked to us about the revitalization of the DCC brand and the new logo. So he took us through that. A full timeline, cost analysis, and plan is expected to come to the board in January 24. The next one was on Ellucian. This it's a proposal to upgrade from the current subscription. I mean, this is used for, it'll have a customizable interface for the students, faculty, and staff. And the good part about this, the cost of the upgrade will be paid through the SUNY revitalization funds. So the next one is a system to track key performance indicators. Our existing contract ended, and we're entering into a new contract with Helio Campus. There was only one bid received, so we're looking to move forward on that. Let's see, and yeah, so, and again, one contract, so, you know, that falls within our sole source purchasing and procurement policies, so we'll be able to move forward on that one. And we also discussed an RFP for communications consultant. And that actually came to, well, we discussed it at the meeting. The bids weren't open until November 15th, which was 2 days after our meeting. But we do have a recommendation to bring forward to the committee tonight. So we exchanged emails to pass that information around. So that will be my one resolution tonight during the regular meeting.
Does anyone have any questions of Stephen? This is going to go quickly. Thank you very much, Chairman. The next item will be from Trustee Cloud, an educational presentation reporting on the New York Community College Trustees Conference. And thank you again for going, Dara.
Oh, actually, I was really thrilled to go. It's an easy drive, and the people I met were terrific. So what I really wanted to just report on is sort of the solidarity that we have or should have or feel with the rest of the community colleges in the state. The theme was reimagining community colleges, and a lot of this discussion was really familiar because Dutchess has been doing this work. Workforce development, partnerships on a large and small scale, internships that are more local, recruiting workers to the Northeast in order to reinvigorate upstate towns. Some of the kind of fun stuff was Finger Lakes Community College has a winemaking discipline.
We just noticed that.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
I read it this afternoon. Well, those are the best wines, I think.
Oh, they were
Finger
terrific.
Lakes.
And they were giving it out little cups for free, you know. They had a table.
Conference is so
Hudson Valley
entertaining.
Community College is working with Global Foundries. SUNY Broome is working with the Raymond Corporation. Monroe with L3 Harris Technologies, which is an AI company, and Mohawk Valley is working with a company called Wolfspeed. So there's a lot of progressive stuff going on upstate that they're connecting into. And some of the favorite comments made during the sessions were community colleges are fueling the growth in higher education in the US right now, which I thought was eye-opening and really great. That we're deeply local, we have strong ties to local employers, we're more flexible than four-year colleges in terms of creating new programs and being able to implement stuff right away. And we create residents. And I thought this was an important point, which I sort of thought, but we create residents for the counties that we are in with job training that's vital to the local economy. And these citizens contribute to the broader economic participation in their communities. One of the kind of encouragements was for us to ask what our community college, what makes our community college attractive nationally. Immediately I thought of the aviation program, you know, because I think we've gotten people from all over for that. Work with legislators to get to the state on this, as well as business owners and alumni. Oh, this is on funding, sorry, I missed it. The assembly people need to understand the disparity between SUNY and community college funding, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but that was a key part of the weekend, was everybody's feeling the same thing about going to the county for money, going to the state for money, who's gonna give it, you know, who should give it, where's SUNY for us, et cetera.
Did they talk about FIT being lumped in with community colleges with the charter?
Yeah, a little, but not much.
Such a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. SUNY Broome boasted a relationship with their county executive in which he asked them what they needed for the year and worked his budget around that. Everyone was jealous. Can we look for financial help for students from local businesses, was a question kind of bandied about. Counties want community colleges to push harder on the state for funding, so the NYCCT is working with counties now on this. And unions need to be armed to pressure the state on this, as well as students. And that was a point I had not considered up until then. One of the sobering pieces of information was the slow response to the appointment of trustees by the governor. They are so backed up that SUNY, Ulster, and one other community college board do not have a quorum to meet. That was kind of shocking. Every community college in the state is dealing with food insecurity in their students, housing insecurity, and mental health. I had to miss those lectures because I went to the new Trustees Institute. The most impressive speaker there was Anne Marie Scheidegger, Vice President of Administrative Service at SUNY Adirondack. She's something of a celebrity in administration, having worked for the state and being one of the few people with a very keen understanding of state funding. And she was really like, here's what you gotta do, that's not pretty, is basically what she said. Community colleges make up 45% of SUNY students. Direct state tax support per student for community colleges is $5,482. Direct state support for four-year students is $19,136. Given the fact that the community colleges receive 10% more Pell recipients, 8% more economically disadvantaged students, and 11% more underrepresented minority students, the NYCCT is calling for equity to bring community college funding up more in line with SUNY four-year colleges. Anne was frank about the fact that SUNY doesn't want to share any funding with the community colleges, and that's not even an issue. In her mind, the only way for us to increase state funding is to go directly to the governor. The ask is a request for $525 million in annual operating funding and matching county contributions to community colleges, combined direct and chargebacks. If the state increases by $97 million and increases direct tax support to community colleges students at $557 per student. Hence, the letters that are in your packet to be handed out. And I guess Peter will talk about that. It was a great, it was really good to be there and to be among other people all, struggling with the same issues.
I could just add one thing. Under the public officers law, if your term is up, you are allowed to stay until your appointment is made. In other words, some people can choose to say, my time's up and I'm going off the board. But for others, even if you don't reapply, if it takes a while for it to go through the governor's office, then you can stay and you're a full voting member, you have all the rights, etc. It's just that as soon as someone else is appointed and sworn in, then your term ends. The reason, I've known this for a while, but it's also, that's why you don't want to have these situations where you don't have quorum and can't meet. So we've had our own troubles with the governor's office as well. It's not just the CC appointments, community college. There's a whole array of appointments that are just sitting there waiting for various commissions, gambling commissions, you name it. And the vetting process, as I understand it, is very, very slow. Full confession, when I was reappointed, it took me almost 2 years. I was already vetted once. So what what are you doing? So it's not as though they even say, okay, this person gets a pass, because they've already been through it once. And the form that I had to fill out was actually much more extensive the second time, going into, I just kept saying, call my broker, call the broker, because where's your money invested? Because it changes so often. So, but what I'm also trying to say is it shouldn't discourage anybody from being a trustee, because you still serve until the replacement is made. So, because there for a point we were having an issue as well about making quorum, where I was getting nervous because if one person wasn't on, we couldn't make the meeting. So, anyway, any other questions for Dara or comments? Thank you so much for going.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Any questions? No. So in terms of the templates, the letters that are in your packet, we are continuing to work on those. So that's not the final document that's going to go out. We will continue to work this month in terms of updating that. But the idea is that we are going to, we as presidents, as a group, will be communicating to employers that we work with and partners within industry to ask them to communicate to specific legislators to urge them to support community colleges. So it's the Trustees Association of New York. It's the community college presidents. And we're also working to get the faculty, because there's a faculty for faculty council for community colleges that we're inviting to join this effort as well. So in addition to the letter writing campaign, we'll continue to reach out to our state representatives as well to make sure that we're getting the message out. This is something that we started as a group last year because the decision was made that we are stronger if we unite on all of this and speak with a single voice in terms of our requests.
So will that ask be made of the union as well?
Of the union?
Yes.
No, it's a good question because we all have different unions and there isn't a statewide kind of organization. That could be challenging, but I didn't think about that, Frank, and I will put that on the table as well. That individually within our campuses, we certainly can do that. Yeah.
Well, if we're talking to faculty, that would be the unions as well. But union leadership is different than
Right.
just all faculty.
But it's CSEA, it's also, and each campus has like 2 or 3 different unions. So, good point. Yeah.
Anyone else have any comments or questions on that one? Okay, the next item on the agenda for the workshop is the liaison reports. The first is the DCC Foundation.
Yes, the holiday dinner I think was a tremendous treat. Thank you to the foundation for that and for including us as a part of it. I think that evening was a great success at the Culinary Institute of America.
Was.
And I feel bad for Adam because he got stuck with me at the table with my wife and I. But he could have been in better company, but we certainly enjoyed his. So. Michael Dupree and Michael Fleischer made a generous gift to support the Student Housing Fund. The funds raised for this initiative are currently supporting 10 students in the DCC residence halls, and they're in process for possibly adding 5 more. Thank you, Michael and Michael. The foundation is in conversation with a few industry partners to support the expansion of the mechatronics lab and an HVAC lab. Exciting news there. The foundation will be supporting the Wi-Fi initiative at the FPC through the Student Technology Fund and supporting the Greenspan Daycare Center so that it may extend its hours of service, which is, I'm sure, greatly needed. The foundation will be holding an alumni event at Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation on December the 13th, thanks to board member Adam Podpora. New scholarships. Zimmer Brothers Jewelers, Women in Business Scholarship, I correct myself. Hudson Valley Hospice Nursing Scholarship would be the second. And save the date for the gala, which will be held on April the 6th. It's a Saturday. The honorees will be Alumni Hall of Fame, Edward Pittman, John Genovese. Bridge to Future Award, Jerry Laybourne. Bernard Handel Community Leadership Award will go to Brian Doyle. The 51st Foundation Holiday Craft Fair brought in more than 3,000 visitors here to campus, and a new partnership with Quail Hollow was very successful. And Celebration of Giving event will be held on January the 26th. A formal invitation will be mailed out shortly. That concludes the report.
Anyone have any questions for Frank? Comments? The holiday dinner was great. We had a little bit of drama, but it got solved. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. But thank heavens we had Angela and Shirley Brereton there to attend. The next liaison report would be DCC Association, but I don't believe we've had a meeting since our last report. When is our next meeting set up for, Derek?
22nd of January.
January, that's right.
2 o'clock.
So we'll have a report in time, fresh for the next meeting. That concludes the workshop. We have about a minute before we can start, or a minute and a half before we can start the regular meeting. Thanks, everyone. I love that we can do these in 30 minutes.
I got to sit for the horse person at the dinner.
Who's there?
Ray.
Oh, okay.
He was a horse crazy kid. And we knew all the same people in Dutchess.
Sure.
You know, they were
It's small.
Well, it is, and it's so, it's always
It's 2
fun.
seconds. It's 2 seconds.
Pardon?
Can you step in for Lisa?
Oh, yeah.
So basically, just touch on presentations with PSO report, add-ons, we heard about the logo,
Yeah.
short and sweet.
All right, short and sweet, got it. He knew all the hunt people, he worked for Betty Davis.
Oh my
Remember
gosh.
Betty?
My father was very good friends with
Oh,
Betty.
really?
Yeah.
Well, and Susie Canavino, the
Oh,
rivals.
yeah.
So, yeah, he had a whole, he was talking,
I almost bought Susie Canavino's old house. I'm not sure.
Is it
if
6:30?
really.
This close.
Ready?
Yeah.
And what happened?
You know,
Good evening, everyone.
that
Thank you for
close.
joining us at the December 5th meeting of
It's
the
right on the road, wasn't it?
Board of Trustees for Dutchess Community College. This is our last meeting of the year.
It is, yeah.
Glad you joined us, all the many who are here. I'm calling this to order at 6:30. And let's see, Jared, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Darrell. Ms. Ponticello, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Frank Costella,
Present.
Mr. Stephen Caswell,
Present.
Ms. Maya Chinkan. Here. Ms. Dara Cloud,
Here.
Mr. Michael Dupree,
Present.
Ms. Angela Flesland. Present. Ms. Lisa Ghartey, Mr. Evis Guzman,
Present.
Ms. Evelyn Panici, Ms. Linda Frank.
Present.
Quorum present.
Thank you. Making a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? There being none, motion carries. Public comment. Joy, do we have anybody signed up tonight for public comment? Thank you. Moving on. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes for the meeting from October 24th?
Motion to approve?
Thank you, Frank.
Second.
Thank you, Elise, and whoever else. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? The motion also carries. Committee reports. For the record, all resolutions and action items were discussed at committee meetings held prior to tonight, as well as briefly reviewed in our workshop. The first committee report will be Academic and Student Affairs. Ms. Ghartey is not here tonight. Who would like to present?
I'll present.
Thank you, Darren.
The committee heard from the PSO, from Michael Adams, PSO Chair, with some items he mentioned were training for faculty and staff who interact with students with physical and mental disabilities. And the revitalization of the DCC brand, the new logo. John Meagle provided the committee with a presentation on the new logo. Informational updates were on the strategic plan, on the Center of Excellence, Nursing and Allied Health, and Industry of Innovation, and Carmel High School complaint. Dr. Jordan provided the committee with an update on the Carmel High School complaint. The course that was referred to in the letter is a concurrent enrollment course which DCC has agreed to allow the University of Albany to offer within the parameters of SUNY service area agreements. As regards the Israel-Hamas conflict and its impact across higher education, there was a discussion on that. The college is taking necessary precautions when planning events on campus for the community, and hopes to be prepared from a safety perspective. Dutchess County Chamber of Commerce Contact Breakfast was on November 15th. And academic and student affairs committee meetings for the calendar year were discussed.
Any questions for Dara? Thank you, Trustee Cloud. The next committee to report will be board policy. Trustee Guzman.
Thank you. We had our workshop meeting on Wednesday, November 8th. No presentations for that evening. Items for consideration, we reviewed a policy of age requirement on early admissions program. Scott Schnackenberg spoke to the committee about this item. At DCC, you need to be 16 years old or a junior in high school to register for classes at DCC. This puts us in a tough market for increasing enrollment. Other colleges use the age of 14, but there is concern about inappropriateness of materials in classes and the mixing and interaction with older students than students of age 14. The next meeting with college departments to discuss making changes to this policy will be on November 9th, with the goal of bringing this policy forward, any changes to this policy in the spring, possibly in 2024. Some informational updates similar to our previous academic and student affairs, but we did review and discuss some of the policies for the 2024 calendar year that will be brought forward to be reviewed during 2024. And we went over our meetings, board retreat in February, strategic plan update as well, and also the President's priorities for DCC Foundation's fundraising efforts.
Any questions for Chair Guzman? We're a quiet group tonight. The next committee report will be Finance and Facilities. Chair Caswell.
All right, thank you. We had several presentations that came before us at this month's meeting. We met on Monday, November 13th. The first one was a revitalization of the DCC brand. The new logos were presented to us, a couple of different options. And so we reviewed them and discussed them, and a full timeline cost analysis and the plan is expected to come to the board in January. The next one was a discussion on Ellucian. This is a proposal to upgrade our current subscription, which will allow for a customizable interface for students, faculty, and staff. And the costs of this upgrade will be paid for through the SUNY revitalization funds. The next was Helio Campus. It's a system to track key performance indicators and is critical to allowing us to track student learning outcomes. And the final presentation was a discussion on an RFP for consulting, communications consultant. We discussed the proposal, but the bids were actually open 2 days after our meeting. So we reviewed the proposal. There was only one proposal that was brought forward. So we reviewed that via email, and that leads me to the one resolution that I will have for us tonight. So with that, I will read our resolution. It's resolution number 2024-25. And I offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas a request for proposals was duly advertised and requested for a communications consultant, it's resolved that a one-year contract for a communications consultant, in accordance with the specifications, be awarded to Straightforward Communications of Hamburg, New York, for fiscal year 2023 to 2024, and be it further resolved that the annual expenditure shall not exceed $80,000, and be it further resolved that the contract will have the option for 3 one-year renewals.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Personnel and Community Relations, Chair Flesland.
Thank you very much. The Personnel Committee met on Monday, November 20th. Dr. Jordan was in the Middle East and joined us via Zoom at 3 o'clock in the morning, his local time. So we certainly thank him for his very large dedication to the college and all of our meetings. As always, we discuss personnel matters and many of the things that you've heard about from my colleagues. There are 2 resolutions to come before us this evening. We will start with Resolution 2024-26. I offer the following and move its adoption. It has been determined that to meet the needs of the college, the following new titles need to be created: Assistant Director of Grants, Alumni Relations and Operations, and Special Events Coordinator. Section 35 of the Civil Service Law requires the title determination of positions in the professional service be made by the Board of Trustees. Now therefore be it resolved that approval is hereby given to create the aforementioned titles of an Assistant Director of Grants, Alumni Relations and Operations, and Special Events Coordinator. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Second is Resolution 2024-27. I offer the following and move its adoption. In accordance with Section 7.13 of the agreement between the Board of Trustees of Dutchess Community College and the County of Dutchess and the Full-Time Educators Unit of the Dutchess United Educators, a notice of discipline dated October 18th, 2023 was served on employee A XXXX1660 that specified charges of misconduct and the proposed penalty of termination. The employee failed to file a disciplinary grievance within 10 days of service of the foregoing notice of discipline. Now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby terminates employee A1660 effective immediately. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries as well. Thank you, Angela, for being so efficient. The next item on the agenda is the report of the student trustee. Before I call on Maya, I just want to say, Maya came to the holiday dinner at the Culinary Institute, and she was seated with, I think, people who might have been more or less 3 times your age. And I happened to be looking at you the whole time, so I could see, and I must tell you, she acquitted herself beautifully. Smiled, talked, was engaged with anybody. I mean, no matter what, she had a big smile on her face and kept talking, and I thought, this is a great representation of our students for donors and trustees. So thank you for enduring that evening. You did it so nicely.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So I have quite a bit here. So another club was approved. They're called the Crypt Keepers. So their club is to provide books, and Outdoor Adventure Club was hosting a fundraiser for trips, and they did a bake sale that was approved by the budget committee. Their food was pretty good. As of November 21st, we got a new person in the Senate that was approved by student government. And today, we had another SGA meeting, and we had a new person replace the old coordinator of internal affairs because there was a little bit of an issue. And then on November 21st as well, so there was someone who came on Zoom, and they introduced the idea of students having student engagement software to see like what's going on campus, to get more involved with the activities, because some people are not really like coming onto campus, or they just want to go home. Sometimes they don't even know what's going on. So the Vice President of Finance said that it was up to the student government to approve, and we are going to get more information on the software to be like pushed to see if it'll happen. and it'll take about 2 months to actually happen. A bunch of clubs have also decided to come together for DCC at Night, which is happening this Friday, December 8th from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. in Dutchess Hall. That's going to be fun, I'm going. And then we also discussed the meetings for the semester, for next semester, and a few events that will be happening to kick off the spring season. And then today we also had a guest speaker, Melissa Carlo, who's the interim chief diversity officer and director of TRIO. She came to talk about what is going on within the programs, and she came to talk about a few plans that were in motion to help the campus be better. She was talking about how, I think, in front of CBI in Washington, she wants to put flags, and I think they're giving out samples right now. I didn't hear the other few plans that she's planning to do, so we'll be looking forward to that. And then several other clubs did the Thanksgiving Jam that occurred earlier this November. I did not attend, but I heard it was good too. And then another, and then a couple more issues that are going on is that the business office is refusing to allow SGA members to get paid, reimbursed, or any allocations, as it has been approved by the association and the Board of Trustees. In the past, spending requests have never had to be approved by the association board. However, it is a new thing that you need documentation that's required in the business administration. So basically, like, student government executive board members are not getting paid for some reason, and like all the vouchers are being put in. And then today we also had the SUNY Student Assembly show up, and they were explaining how they want to know what's going on campus, and when they were coming to community colleges, they just want to be more involved with what's going on campus, and they want like proper communication, just to be more involved. And then a few aviation students have been expressing to me like how some of them live like all the way up in Buffalo, and so they have problems with like getting their flight hours in, because you need a minimum of 250, I believe, and due to the lack of like instructors in the program, some of them are expressing how concerned they are, like that they're not going to graduate with that certificate, or like there's just a lot of issues that they're on, because I think they're on like the first set of hours for the program. So that's it.
That was a good report, Maya, at least I think. Anybody have any questions for her? I'll just ask the question. I wasn't quite sure I was following the SGA, since Darren and I are the liaisons to the association board, they're now being required, I know we approved their budget, what their funds are going to be, but they now need to provide some documentation for individual decisions for expenses, or?
It's for any individual that gets paid a stipend has to go through a resolution. Doesn't matter what governing body it is, it's a process that has to be followed. And so the recommending body, which would be the SGA, submits that to the association board. The association board will discuss it and vote on it.
I'm guessing this is for purposes of audits? To show?
Audits and governance.
That's what I should say, but to show that there's proper tracking and things aren't just being spent willy-nilly. That's kind of what I thought, because I've participated in audits before, and you need to always have some way to track the approval and then how it's dispersed, et cetera. Say something, Peter?
And this is about another matter, the flight.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are aware of the challenges with flight hours, and a major part of that has to do with the equipment that the flight school is using.
Right.
That has been down much of the time.
Yeah.
We've been working with the flight school to correct that, and last night got a delivery of a new aircraft. So things have started to improve over the last month in terms of the number of flight hours that students are putting in, but we are aware of that and on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So-
one of the students, she lives all the way up in Buffalo, and just
Yeah.
was constantly expressing how she might not get all her hours in, and she only has like 15 out of 250.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what she's really concerned about.
Is she living in the dorm?
Yes.
This semester? Right.
Yeah, and she has to keep paying like for dorming because she's trying to get in all the hours. So like over winter break, she's staying over. Over summer, she's gonna stay over too. So, and she lives wherever, however far Buffalo
Yeah.
is.
Buffalo's pretty far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
As well as pretty snowy. Anybody else have any questions? Because I just have really one more. I didn't catch what the Crypt Keepers does, because that's how I feel like I'm the Crypt Keeper and I'm around really young people, you know?
I think the point of the club was to like promote like books and like that relate to like murder mystery or like
Got it.
just like I don't know the word for it specifically, but like just something like related to that topic.
Thank you.
Yeah, horror. That's what I was
Horror, the horror and fantasy genre. Got it. So DCC at night, 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., that's a long.
It was like that last semester as well. It's pretty cool. They do murder mysteries, karaoke. It's a lot of fun events.
This is why I feel like I'm Crypt Keeper, because I couldn't go possibly that long or that late at night.
There are 4.
Yeah. I could start at 4 and leave at 6, put it that way.
Gosh.
So, the next item on the agenda is my report, and I'll try to be hurried if not brief. Under Instruction and Learning, Dr. Rachel Mead is contributing author for the 2nd edition of Coordinating Divisional and Department Student Affairs Assessment. Dr. Mead wrote the first chapter of the book, Equity-Centered Assessment, which will be available December 1st. DCC held the 14th Annual EMS Connections Conference on Saturday, November 11th. Approximately 100 emergency responders, including EMTs and paramedics, received continuing medical education and medical control credit for physicians from Mid-Hudson Regional Center, Westchester Medical Center, Kingston Hospital, and Northern Dutchess Hospital, as well as from our own DCC EMS instructors. There were 17 sessions that providers could choose from. Dr. Scaria, our department chair for nursing, is pleased to share that the most recent NCLEX results for first-time test takers for the 3rd quarter have a pass rate of a very strong 93.55%. For the first 3 quarters, that is a 94.4% pass rate, and these results are a marked improvement compared to last year, where quarters 1 through 3 in 2022 was 83%, so that's a big jump. In a recent blog post, SUNY Library Services highlighted some of the open educational resources work that is happening at DCC. In addition to creating OERs, Assistant Librarian Rich Kovarovic, I think they're probably not saying that correctly, is working with faculty to add DCC-created OERs to SOAR, which is the SUNY Open Access Repository. This will include two-dimensional design at Dutchess Community College Open Educational Resource by Holly McCabe. In admissions, we held a fall open house on November 11th, and it was a success. The event attracted 270 RSVPs prior to the event, and another 204 prospective students signed in at registration that Saturday. This marks a substantial increase compared to the 2022 open house, where we had 103 potential students. You can see the difference of almost 500 versus 103. The initial post-event survey revealed that both students and families were impressed by the friendly demeanor of college students and staff. 100% of survey respondents either agreed or strongly agreed with the statement. As a result of the program, I'm more likely to attend DCC, ranking as 4 or 5 out of 5. On November 7th, DCC's Academic Coaching and Transfer Center, or the ACT Center, hosted our annual Fall Transfer Fair at Falcon Hall, welcoming 78 colleges and universities from 10 states and 51 cities. Over 164 DCC students and family attended. A post-event survey also revealed that participating college representatives were notably impressed by the caliber of our students and staff, and fees collected from the colleges which attended the fair added over $3,500 to DCC Foundation's transfer scholarship. In athletics, our women's volleyball team attended the NJCAA, which is the National Junior College Athletic Association's Division III National Championship in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where they finished the 2023 season tied for 13th place in the nation. Individual players earned awards for their successes throughout the 2023 season. Our men's basketball team is ranked number 7 in the nation for Division III and started the season 4-0. And last, our women's basketball returned to competition in the fall of 2023 for the first time since the pandemic. They started the session 2-0, where I believe the team is ranked now in the top 15 in Division III. Any questions?
Just a comment, as it's kind of my baby, the NCLEX pass rates improving that much is a very big deal. I've read a lot of other schools that have publicized those. I definitely think, John, that's a good opportunity for a press release, because when nursing, potential nursing students are looking at programs, that is the gold standard. What is your NCLEX pass rate? And when you have a rate that high, that not only speaks to the students, but it also speaks to the process of enrollment, and really making sure that we're getting the right students in. So kudos on that.
Thank you, Angela. Anybody else? Because of course, you would know.
Kind of know.
As a graduate from the program and now earning your PhD. If there's nothing else from me, then the next item is a report of Peter, our president.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start with a thank you to Trustee Costello and the Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce for their invitation to me to serve as a keynote speaker at the November 15th Contact Breakfast. It was a real thrill. It was great to be representing DCC, but as far as feedback goes, it was even greater, because what I heard quite a bit of was we didn't know that DCC was doing all of this. So it suggests that we need to be on the road more, and so we'll be talking more about that here on campus in terms of how we position the college from a communications and public relations standpoint to make sure that the community, especially business and industry leaders, know more about what we are doing as a college. So thank you to the Chamber. On November 25th, 29th, I had the opportunity to represent DCC along with Hudson Valley Community College. We were the two community colleges across the state invited to represent community colleges along with Research One institutions, public and private, at a CHIPS Research and Development Office roundtable event. And this was held in Albany at the Nanotech Complex. This was a listening tour being conducted by the CHIPS office because they're interested in learning what is happening within communities. And in New York, they visited Western New York and the Albany capital region to hear what we are doing as a state in terms of scaling up research and workforce development training opportunities to support the semiconductor manufacturing industry. So it was really a thrill to get that call to represent community colleges because of what is happening here. And I'm sure that that had just maybe a little bit to do with the First Lady coming to visit and the press we got around our mechatronics lab and that opening. On October 29th, we had our second annual Family Fall Festival here just on the eve of Halloween, and our executive leadership showed up in character representing the Wizard of Oz, and you should have seen that in the most recent newsletter, thanks to marketing and communications. And lastly, I want to express thanks on behalf of the college and this board to the county legislature's Budget, Finance, and Personnel Committee that last night approved unanimously the college's capital budget request for the coming year. And Trustee Caswell was part of all of that, and we thank you for your advocacy and support. But that was a major feat. Now we will be, well, I should say that among the concerns that were expressed had to do with whether or not the estimates that we received in terms of the costs for completing these capital projects included escalation costs, and what was that? What was the percentage there? Because the concern is that there may be additional costs when we get to really actualizing these projects. The legislative board will meet on Thursday to consider and hopefully approve, put its final stamp of approval on these projects as well. But I want to say a hearty thank you to members of the legislature.
Anyone have any questions or comments for President Jordan? Thank you, Peter. I know that you could have added a lot more to that report from meeting with you every week. So would anyone like to present an item for other business or future business? I'm going to add just one quickly. I believe that the holiday party is December 14th, am I correct?
Yes.
And it's on campus. It starts at 1 o'clock, I think?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, and the location is?
The Ritz
Lounge. The reason why I say that is I was very proud to see as many trustees as we had at the foundation dinner at the CIA. I noticed that they had carefully deployed different trustees at different tables. Yay! So that we could all talk about it. Believe me, it means a lot to me because I remember when I first was going to those, there were very few of us as trustees who went. And we had at least 8 there, I believe. So that was great. And as I said, seeing Maya there, again, our students are our best representation, our best marketing efforts. And again, you did a great job. So date of the next meeting will be January 23rd, 2024. And if there's nothing else, then I get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you for televising this, et cetera, with the resources we have.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, happy holidays. Thank you.
That's right.
Oh, wow. That's what I used to. So, I didn't know, if I said to Peter, is it necklace or just say it, or just say in class? He said, just say NC. I was like,